Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
Guys, this is Let's Talk About Tomorrow, where we discuss anything and everything. I am your host, Katrina, and this is my co-host.
And I am David, of course. Nice to see you today, Katrina. I'm being nice. Be nice too.
Me too. Same to you.
Good.
We have in the house today Mercy. Hello.
Mercy, thanks
Thank
for
you
joining
for
us.
coming. And we also have David.
Divo, Amen.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. And of course, we have Barrister Evans Ophelia. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Our discussion today will be centered around Gen Z, not individually, but as a whole generation.
Mm-hmm.
There's the argument that we are too sensitive. I know that the older generations will agree, but let us be unbiased. We have young people here. Let's try to be objective. Are we too sensitive?
Are we too sensitive?
Yes.
The first thing is to throw the conversation open. What does it mean to be sensitive? What is sensitivity? Let's put it in perspective. Mercy, would you want to say something to that?
I think sensitivity is being easily moved
Okay.
by things. Your emotions being easily swayed.
Oh.
And you don't have this firm ground.
So you can be easily influenced.
Yes,
or...
you can be easily influenced
Okay.
by things around.
Okay. Being sensitive. David.
Marissa, do you agree?
Okay, let's.
Yeah, I will say that sensitivity is human nature. Not like there is an aggravation now. It is human to be emotional.
Okay.
Except perhaps we're discussing beasts or some AI
It's
technology.
not feminine to be emotional.
Okay. So it is emotions will run no matter how society advance or develop. In the last 50 years, psychologists came up with this analogy that the world is going soft. People now have short fuse, short temperament, short level of tolerance.
Yes.
You understand? So that is why when you look at how society is screwed now, in the days of yore, when there used to be war and conquest,
Okay.
people were stronger.
Built tougher.
Yes, they built tougher. In fact, some people were born into war.
Mm.
By the time they grew up, by the time they were 18, nothing scares them. Their emotions have taken a pattern. And it's in the hard way. You understand?
Yeah.
But when you look at the current generation, the Gen Z and all that, Gen Z are children of convenience. They were not actually. Will you blame them for? Because this thing you call Gen Z, it cuts across whether those in urban city and the rural areas and all that. But if you look at the proclivities are the same. The world seems to have developed more, but the human tolerance seems to have dwindled.
Okay.
Wait, you said that it doesn't matter where we are, Gen Z is all the same. Is that what you
No, that's what I mean. I said the preponderance. What I mean is the cultural annuity, the level of tolerance in the current age is not built tough.
Regardless of where you're rural or you're in the urban area.
Yeah,
this
whether whichever place, because I have seen people who are not even in cities who appear to be weaker than those who grew up in convenience. So life is all. You see, the thing is, you cannot analyze life. The human being is complex. You can't, because you know why you can't, because you have in the mix of all this you have temperament mix.
So okay.
By the time you put all that together,
to David, I'm coming to you, but sir, you over the years you've employed people, you've had to interact with people that you give specific things to do, and I'm sure you have had experiences where people didn't meet your expectation and you had to check them. Let me put it like that. You have also had interactions with Gen Zs that you employed and they misbehaved. Is there a difference in how we take it and how the previous used to take, being reprimanded or being corrected. Let me put it like that.
Well, there's no sharp difference when you talk about labor,
Okay.
industrial relations. I've not seen sharp difference, but I've seen that the Gen Zs are reclusive. When you correct them, sometimes they go on Google to check whether what they did was right or wrong. And sometimes they will stumble on what a fellow Gen Z had written about the same stuff.
About that same
And,
situation.
they will actually go online and do stuff. But the other generation, I see, is about the person, the upbringing, the character, the person's makeup. Not many persons were fortunate to have been raised properly, to stand the test of time,
To be tough.
to be great.
But in this situation, are there seeming weaknesses that are peculiar to people that are born in the Gen Z era? That's where
And
my
wait,
question
are you
is.
saying that
think-
sensitivity is the same as weakness?
For me, to some extent, I feel they can be used interchangeably. For me, that is David speaking.
David, do you agree?
Weakness and sensitivity.
They cannot be the same.
They cannot.
It's
What
still
are we-
the way you respond to issues. The way you respond to issues are different from the way I will respond to it. The way you talk about your friend sometimes.
Crying.
You know,
Some
other
That was
persons,
being sensitive.
some other persons will respond to it in a different way.
So what we are saying now is that sensitivity does not equal weakness.
Yes.
So there's no equal weakness.
It can be a sign of strength as well.
Yes. Weakness for me is a personal. You deal with issue to the capacity of your strength. Not everyone, like someone will say go and fast for 40 days. I say I don't agree. Fasting has nothing to do with the line should not be flat. I will
Exactly.
do what I have capacity to do. And you don't get judgmental at me because of, So the basic line is that the Gen Z have their ways. Okay? And their ways are not necessarily different from the ways of the old. It's just that they are living a different time.
It's the
And
way
that
I'm
time
finding
makes a
it hard
demand.
to really agree.
Yes.
In the sense that I have seen where, going back to being reprimanded, I have seen where people take being corrected. There's a way they take it. I correct the two of you, and I'm making the obvious observation. You did something not quite right, and I'm saying it even if I am angry. I'm just saying it, letting you know. There's a way someone will typically, in the previous generation, that's not Gen Z. I'm saying that because it is predominant in that generation. Over here, I see that overtly being sensitive. I see it as some sort of weakness because the person you can choose to take what the person is saying and ride with it and just take the correction. But they will just immediately isolate what the person is saying and just focus on the person's personality and person's
That's a
character.
generalization. I don't think that's
It is popular. You are not going to argue that. I
I
promise
don't
you,
think so.
Katrina. It is popular.
I
amongst
So what I can draw out from what you are saying is that some of the Gen Z, some not all, believe that if an older person is correcting them,
Yes, in some cases.
the person is old school.
Old
They
school,
will look at it and like, what is it telling me?
being insulted,
So
he
some
doesn't
not all,
understand me.
some not all. This is still tied to their upbringing. You understand?
Yes, of
Uh-huh.
course.
That's
There is no way we are
it's still tied to
escaping
their
that.
upbringing. You
Yes.
understand? So it's not everyone, okay? But one thing you can place your hands on, the psychologists have agreed that in the last 50 years, the level of tolerance dwindled. So many factors must have been responsible for the level of human tolerance, especially the younger generation. I read a word not too long ago.
Okay.
An 8-year-old girl. Okay, they talked about her anger level. That if you cross her path, whether take her game or something, and she will turn the house upside down.
Wow. That sounds like Petrina when she was younger. Sorry.
And begin to throw her clothes out of the
I
house.
think for that scenario, she must have seen somebody do it over time. She cannot just grow.
Boils down to upbringing.
She
like
cannot
you
just
said
grow
before.
up. She's 8-year-old for
They know you
heaven's sake.
flog her.
discipline. Child.
She's
It's
8
part,
years
it's part of
old.
why
She must have
our
probably
com-
done it the first time, or see somebody see somebody then do it the first time, and the parents did not
do anything,
do anything,
about it.
and then she feels like that is the best way to express my displeasure, and she does
So that means that, do we think that our culture also can like play a role in how we view issues?
How sensitive we are in food.
David, let's hear from you.
Culture.
Our way of life can have an
See,
impact.
one of the factors we have in consult, yes, we have consult, because why would your employer be reprimanding you and getting angry that you did not meet up the task?
I don't
I
know
think
how
what
culture
gives
is
you the
saying
right
it's
to
not
be
all.
angry?
I think
I've
it depends
heard
on
you
right
so
so many
many
times.
it
times.
depends
You're not
on
supposed to talk.
it depends on the way you are being corrected.
Don't
They are not even
Mm.
supposed to get
Because
angry for being
Mm.
corrected.
No,
What
there are
if-
different
what
ways
if
to correct
you were not
people.
actually wrong, and your
And it's
employer just
except
felt
from a
like,
different
you
point
know,
of view. Exactly.
No,
He's
that
your
is an
employer.
isolated.
That,
So,
that one is
it's
a
not
whole
your God.
different thing. That one is a whole different thing. You now have
It's
the
not
right
your
to
God.
live there. You have the right to live there if you feel that.
Don't
yes.
please don't center correction to only employers.
Wait now. Wait.
No, we are just
Because
coming
if
from
you-
there. And
give
don't
me an
mistake
example.
correction for verbal abuse.
Thank
That
you
is
so
not what
much.
I am
Thank you
talking
so
about.
much.
They are
You
two
did something
different
wrong,
things.
obviously, and he's correcting you, and yes, he's angry, and he's saying it at the top of his voice. But you're not picking the correction, you're picking the fact that he's shouting at you.
His voice
That's the
pitch.
only thing you're hearing now. That's the only problem you have, he's shouting at you. Before,
The next thing you
Not
hear
even
is,
before,
I
wait,
don't
wait.
feel safe in that workplace.
in my house,
It's just my mental health.
Yeah.
It's
Can you
true.
imagine?
It's true. Like
In my
there
house.
are like certain ways to correct
about
people
Mm.
nowadays.
You say now.
I've actually worked with a lot of teenagers, and I figured that the moment you shout on them,
You've lost them.
don't get me wrong. You can always shout at them, like, but then there are certain ways to correct people. Some people can't deal with noise. Like people can't deal with when you shout at them. It messes up with their emotional state. You don't know what they are facing in the house, or
You
you,
can't
don't know their
always-
mindset, and
You
then
have
can't
to be
always
boss up.
control what comes. I don't like the fact that we are. Say, for instance, now there is a live action. There's a cartoon we grew up watching that they are doing the remake, the live action now. There's a particular character there that what makes his character, what made every one of us, even Petrina here, fall in love with him was how goofy, how funny, and how, a little bit sexist. And there was a sprinkle of, that's a misogyny, just a little, tiny little. Now they are doing the live action. Said they are going to tone down on that character entirely. And even Petrina saw that character now, she could not even believe it. Am I lying? Confirm.
That's just one.
And that is to establish
they will have
how.
to tune down because times have changed.
Why?
Yeah.
What are the factors responsible for this? It's less than 2 decades.
Yeah, no, you see, you can't. Let me tell you, even before this decade you're talking about, there was certain level of motion picture that were not. You can view they were not sensitive to issues. Today, you have some content, okay, that throws light on same-sex, and it's allowed. Even cartoon.
yes.
Yes.
Even in the UK now, they are teaching children in school that if you think you're not comfortable being a male,
You can choose your
or you
Choose your
gender.
gender.
or you think you're not comfortable being a
you can be
female,
a cop.
that's what they call binary.
Non-binary.
Non-binary, sorry. Non-binary, you can be in between. You
They,
understand?
them.
That's not actually in between. That's being not any of them.
Out
Not
of
in
it,
between.
yeah, out of it, not in between.
Your pronouns will be they, them. How wonderful.
Yeah, so you see that
Don't
50
carry
years
that
ago,
mindset and go about.
That's crap.
50 years ago, you can call it anything you want to call it. They have laws that are meeting all those things. In fact, they are tied into human rights now.
Exactly.
It is
Right
actually.
to be what I want to be.
They have tied into even to tell you that these children have what they
It
call
is. It is
have
a
what they
human
call
right.
hormonal dysreaction. Okay, and some of them are even in parliament that are gay and that are lesbians. They are even in parliament and they are fighting the war. They are telling the world that God did not create human just straight. That it cannot be black and white. That there's what they call gray.
Gray
Yeah, they're
area.
gray areas.
So now you see, 50 years ago, that may not be a conversation.
Yes, because even in America, I read that some time past, being gay was there was diagnosis for mental illness.
Yes.
Professionally speaking, in the practice of psychology,
Yes.
there was
But if you research it today, you find out that
Now because the population of the world, has increased, their own community,
has
Has
increased
increased as well.
and that
significantly.
community have a lot of billionaires. That community.
Influential
Yes,
person.
they have people who are not also billionaires, but who pump in resources to preserve that community. So they have created self-preservation. Now, now they are crossing from self-preservation to have laws to protect that community. And from laws, they are building society. And from there, they are giving grants to fellows who are in countries where they don't allow it.
Yeah,
like in Ireland, for example. Ireland is the first country that declared that you can marry a man or a woman. A man can marry a woman or a woman can marry a woman, whatever it is. Any kind of marriage is allowed. The one that's not allowed is if you decide you want to marry a cow or a horse. That one is not yet. But we're going to get to that point where the discussion will escalate. And they will begin to find scientific justification.
Even to digress a little, I saw MAP. MAP is an acronym for, is a movement, I kid you not, minor attracted persons.
People are saying
Please,
it's minor.
please,
Yeah,
that's
but
pedophilia, right?
yes, but
Yes.
the Americans, there was a time it was discussed vigorously in one of the states in the US. And it was like, the world cannot sustain that. Because this man came out and said that he's only attracted to children. So I said, no, we have a law against pedophilia. That you cannot, use whatever it is that is wrong with you to engender the next generation.
What do they mean wrong? If they can, well, it's a conversation. It's a very long
No,
conversation.
those
Not
are
to
children.
digress.
Those are
they should
children.
not? You think they should not?
to
Those are
digress.
children.
If everybody has fair hearing as to, if I can bring, stats or facts, measurement in my head to see that, or to prove that I am genuinely attracted to people of, shouldn't I have,
No, because
you two are
children
genuinely
are not old enough to
attracted
consent.
to,
No, you
Children
cannot.
are
The
not
reason you
old
can't
enough
do that.
to-
Yeah.
for the world to
You're
come from,
hurting the children.
for the world to
You
come
can't-
from a place where we diagnose people that are attracted to same sex as being crazy to being something so glorified now that it has increased
I
the
don't think you're
sensitivity
getting
of
the
people.
difference.
What I'm saying
I
is
don't
that
think
we
you're
are
getting-
going to find a way to twist 20,
Well,
40,
do you know
50
why-
years
When you're
down.
talking about
You know why it was
LGBTQ,
easy? It was easy for LGBTQ, whatever. It was easy because adults,
Exactly, they're
consenting
adults.
okay? As long as whatever they do does not affect
The next
the
person.
next person, injure him or cause him to be sick or die. Do you understand? It can pass. But when you talk about adult pedophilia, you cannot because these children,
they are
they
children
have no right.
and they can't think
They can't
of
give-
long-term consequence of their actions.
Yes, and they cannot give
Traumatized.
And
consent.
those same children in their laws can change their gender.
That's the one that me I don't understand.
You see, that is why.
It's rather
See,
in
That's
the
the
West.
one that I don't
too.
understand.
Yeah, no, the influence of the West in the world is. I mean, they are the one who told us when we were on our own doing polygamy.
And they
Polygamy
came
looks to me like the reorder of nature.
to, Petrina.
Given that,
He said
Let's not
polygamy.
go
He
there.
did not say
So given-
polygyny.
given
He
that,
said polygamy. So
So
Polygamy.
we were educated before
Well-
we came on set that polygamy does not necessarily mean a man and multiple women. It could mean a woman and multiple
multiple
women too.
yes,
multiple
That-
men.
Multiple men.
yes.
So to be specific,
That's
it
not
is
polyandry.
polygyny.
That's polyandry.
Yeah,
So he said
polygamy.
polygamy. Polygamy is the
So
other.
polygyny is for the man,
Yes.
polyandry is for the woman with
Yes.
multiple. Then polygamy is just the umbrella term.
So-
Yes, it looks to
Okay.
me like worship. But when the colonialists came, they came with the Bible. And
He's
they
talking
told
about
us-
polygyny.
Are you talking about polygyny or polygamy?
I'm talking about polygamy.
Yes, because there's still some
I
societies
want to give
that
equal
still-
rights.
Oh, equal.
Yeah.
Even though my mind was not on the analysis, but I know polyandry and
Yes,
but
societies.
let me use polygamy
Mhm.
because at that time, even in Nigeria, there are some places in the southeast where it is allowed in those days.
For
Yes, where women can go and source women.
our husband.
Yes,
But not a woman having more than one man. As
not
her-
the man, but
Maybe not in
uh,
Nigeria,
in
but there are other
Uganda.
societies.
In
that-
Uganda,
of course,
so it's allowed in Uganda. It's allowed in
India.
Ashanti in Ghana. India also. India.
In Ghana?
Yes, Ashanti.
Wow.
Yes. The
That's
Ashantis do it.
that's new.
Yeah, they do it. So the issue is that we were on our own when they came and gave us the Bible and they said it is one man, one woman. One man, one woman. Later, these same people altered it and said that a woman is allowed for a woman to go with a woman. You understand? A man to go with a man. Okay? So they set all the standards. And because we consume too much of Western influence, content from the West.
Americanization.
Look at, see, if you are not careful, let me just share this with the Gen Zs, because 5 years from now, 5-6 years from now, you start to have your own children. Try to watch their cartoon. The cartoons today, they talk about kissing, they talk about love, they talk about, they sprinkle some things about
let our children
so you have to watch it, because since it's not censored now properly, I believe there's an acceptance.
So for
And it's
me
gonna
now,
grow.
with all what we're saying, I believe most of this hypersensitivity that's happening in the world, the West is to be blamed, if you ask me. They give room to too much shenanigans.
But not everything. Not everything is wrong. Not everything.
They did not force you to take their culture.
No.
Because I don't think like we just said,
That-
sensitivity is not always wrong. For instance, if you have, like, let me just give this example now.
Okay,
If you have
let me listen.
somebody that is bullying somebody else,
Mhm.
and another person, a third party, feels sensitive enough to stand up for the person being bullied, that is good sensitivity.
Okay.
So sensitivity
And I
is not
think,
always wrong.
No, I think it's saying sensitivity in the context.
In this context
In the
of being
context
too
of
soft.
And the context of being too soft. That is what is responsible for high rate
Being
of
so- what
high rate
do
of
you mean
suicide.
by-
High
what
rate
do
of
you-
suicide. We
Yeah.
have a high rate of depression.
The
Okay.
things
Today-
that used to happen to our parents and they just shrugged off.
Are you sure
Those
they
things.
maybe they were just shrugging it off, but I think that they still had mental health issues.
We're not saying
Yeah, they
they
have
were
that.
immune.
They also committed suicide. They too committed suicide. Many of them.
They were not
So-
immune to it,
But
but
they could,
they
to a
could,
large extent.
chest it to a manner of speaking. They could
No,
most of
also
But
because
is it a bad thing that we are deciding to speak up? Why not
Exactly.
speak
Yeah,
up?
wait,
That's how our
hold-
problem started from.
wait.
Why not speak up
Let's
and
hold
see
let's
how
hold
dying.
let's hold that
Let's
thought.
get it.
Let's hold that thought as we go on the short break. Don't go anywhere, the conversation is just starting.
Enterprise TV, your one-stop shop for news, programs, human angle stories, the economy, sports, and much more. We go the extra mile to bring incredible details to you. So hop on the train now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About Tomorrow on Enterprise TV. Before the break, we're talking about whether we are too sensitive as a generation.
Yeah.
So let me just ask this. So do we think being sensitive, like being soft,
Mhm.
I wouldn't really say it's being soft anyways, but do we think that being sensitive now is a bad thing? Like that's what we're discussing before we break. Is it a bad thing or
Okay.
is it a
The merits, the demerits, the advantages, the disadvantages. As a generation, let's just concede the fact that we are soft. We are not totally agreeing. I don't want to wahala, but let's just say we are soft. Looking at it now, is it a bad thing in itself or a good thing? Right,
like
how you?
to be sensitive.
Yes.
It's not a bad thing. To be sensitive, it speaks of self-security, self-preservation. An
It
insensitive,
doesn't suggest weakness.
It
does
doesn't.
not.
In fact, an insensitive person is weak.
Mm.
Yes.
yes.
An insensitive
weak.
person, an insensitive person is stupid. You know, I say stupid because you see where the world is now. We're managing our emotions as best as we can. Okay, so if your interaction with others, you don't placate it with sensitivity. Know what to say, what not to say, what to do, not what to do. Boundaries not to cross. The ones to mutual respect. Some people don't know anything, they don't understand anything about mutual respect. They just say that come here, come and say that I'm your senior. You understand? So mutual respect. We don't have those interpersonal relationships. You see, if you look at the reason for the high rate of suicide in the world today, it's not as a result of the poverty of the demise.
Or being too sensitive.
Those ones who have kill themselves. You understand? It's not. If you study further, you find out that most of them has to be interpersonal relationship. You jilted the other person, and the next thing he discover or she discovered that the best way to put a rest or put an end to whatever
He's
you're
taking
doing
his
is to take his life.
Is that not being too sensitive?
That's not being too sensitive.
Yeah, well,
Because
you could
we-
Does
say
that not back up
we-
my argument?
no. You will say the action, the outcome of his sensitivity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you
It's an
really judge?
offense.
Can you really judge someone like that?
What
Because
do you
we
mean,
are all
judge?
different. We are all different. We all
And
have
but there's a law that says you shouldn't take your life.
There's a
Yeah,
fine
what
line
law is
between.
Where
Where-
no,
It's illegal.
Yeah,
That's
I know
yeah.
that.
So,
I know, but at
so-
the same time, it's not like the person actually wants to die.
no, but
It's
in
because
order,
of something.
but in order to discourage people from ending their lives, ending your life is not a solution to whatever problem you are going through.
Barrister, growing up, you were a guy. You were a hot boy in uni days.
Yeah, that's
You
what
had
it is.
friends that were hot boys too.
Yes,
They were jilted at some point.
yes.
You had stories from other departments and everything. It was taking the life ever a good
How do you
to.
want to use another
Well,
person's
never-
story
I'm trying
judge
to
another
compare
person?
that
Never.
generation
Let me tell
to
you,
now.
the lady I was supposed to marry, you know why we did not go on?
Okay.
She's a Jehovah's Witness, and she said I must stone to, and I hate conditions. You understand? I hate conditions. I don't like conditions. Because what it means is that the moment I cave in, my whole life will be based on conditions. And I don't want conditions. So I pulled out and I went into solitary confinement. That is why this life is too complicated. I'm just telling you people. I went into solitary confinement and when I came out from it, I discovered that this life, if you take you half of your life to discover that this life is a do-it-yourself project. And if you are going to have an alliance or a relationship, put at the back of your mind that this thing is an alliance. If you can make it a contract, fine. Even the law says marriage is a contract.
Why didn't you break down crying?
No, I didn't. I was not raised that way. I was raised not to, and that is why I suffered a lot.
You see,
They should have allowed
you
me
need to be
to.
sensitive.
They should have allowed me to be weak as a child. But because I went to a military school,
Wait, I want you to
because-
finish.
because
I don't quite.
no, hold on, you get it now. Because I
Mhm.
went to a military school where
Ah,
you are not, you are taught that. In fact, first of all, they create a mindset for you that the other person is a civilian. That you are the only real superior breed.
You are the apex.
Yes, and
Special.
and the military they have their way. They will just make you feel, and by the time you come out to the outer space, the outer world, you are like people say things and you're looking at them. What are this? You have been conditioned to be in a particular way, not to be weak. When everybody is running, that's when you stand and ask people what's running. You understand? You don't have
I
any kind of
get.
fear.
You put
All the
perspective.
problems I've had in this my 4 decades and plus on this earth has been about overconfidence. Yes. There was one time I was talking in court, and the court registrar told me to tune my voice down and I'm shouting at the judge. It's that bad. Do you understand? Yeah, so it's about overconfidence have been my problem. And
So being taught sensitivity then might have been a tool in your arsenal. That's what you're
Yes.
saying. Growing up.
yeah, being taught sensitivity might be like it wasn't under that circumstance, you are not even taught to be sensitive. You are taught to be in charge, to dominate, to break through, break free.
And you are saying it has disadvantages.
Yes, I should have been allowed to cry.
Hmm.
I should have been allowed to grow.
They say men don't cry now.
men should.
Nobody it affected me now.
Hmm.
Because when I had that encounter, I went to solitary confinement. I didn't know how to handle it.
Oh, you didn't
Yeah,
have the
if I was thrown into
Okay.
civil, if I was raised civil,
Mhm.
I would have managed that situation better.
Hmm.
Yes, I was not raised that way. Raised straight jacket, and
Okay.
it's not good to raise a child like that.
Do you think sensitivity is a good thing or a bad thing?
I would say sensitivity is like the safe space for gents nowadays. Like it makes us feel secure. I don't know how to put it, but then being able to feel what I want to feel and express my emotions how I want to express my emotions.
Yeah.
So that I feel like the older generation sometimes don't even give us a chance to. There are many people that suffer nowadays because they can't, like he rightly said, because they failed to speak up. Many people went through abuse. Many people like rape, verbal insults, and all of those things, but they could not speak up because they were not given the situation to. But today, if you try anything with me, I'm able to like tell everybody, no, this person did this. In so much as you steal my money, I'm able to tell everybody that somebody stole my money and all of those things. I'm able
Could
to
it be a
like
bad thing that we talk to?
and then I don't think it's a bad thing.
I'm just saying.
And even a sensitive person overthinks. Yes, overthinking has its own disadvantage, but it makes you like know what and what you are doing.
So, Mercy, you are saying sensitivity is a good thing in your books.
Yes, it has its bad side though, but then
For the most part.
yes, it is.
Okay. Devo,
Well,
drive your point home.
sensitivity on this one is a good thing.
It's a good
It's
thing.
good to have a conversation. If we're having a conversation and I'm sensitive enough to know that something I've said has hurt you, that's good. But now we're driving this sensitivity too much that it's not good to be too sensitive. A little something and you're overthinking. A little something and this person is already thinking of going to die. It's not good. Where did we get this softness from? We are soft. We are all soft. Where did we get this from? It's when they gave us democracy and freedom of speech. Now, if
David is going somewhere I'm not familiar.
If a movement starts like this gayism, I hate gayism. Everything in my body, especially now. You know the LGBT gay. I hate it.
Okay. So
Someone comes up, I'm gay. Once there is enough body, when he has backup now, from one person, 1,000, 10,000.
Don't say this thing you are saying.
Chill. From one person,
Make
1,000. From one person, 1,000,
1,000.
10,000. They can now bring up the democracy. Since there's a lot of people. Now, okay, let's show of hands. Is LGBTQ a good thing? When the yes is more than the no, it comes to law.
it's a game of numbers.
It's a game of numbers now.
Once
Once there's numbers,
It's not a bad thing.
bad.
It's not a bad thing.
so yes.
But I've seen women that criticize gay. I've seen women who say that where lesbianism is soft is even without it being pronounced that's been there, but that they don't allow it.
Let's not just on this point. The fact that they brought freedom of speech and democracy.
That's what you are.
I don't think so.
Okay.
You want us to say
For me, sensitivity in itself is okay to some extent when it pertains to paying attention to details as regards your relationship with others. But the way we respond to issues that life throws at us, I don't like what our generation does now. Because life will always throw you stuff you were never prepared for. And you should have enough character to be able to chest it and move on. Not to think of the nearest bridge and the nearest. That's weak. I was there once. That's why I'm saying it's not right, and we should do something about it. That's what I'm saying.
This conversation today. We've come to the end of the conversation anyways.
That's it.
Thank you, my guest, for being on the show.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Also, thank you, viewer, for watching. We want to know what you think. Let us know in the comment section. To join us next time, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Enterprise TV7 and follow us across social media at Enterprise TV7. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.